let's make a simple plate with some masking for underglaze. So first I have a slab. I've let it set up to kind of wet leather hard. So still flexible, but it doesn't just flop over. I'm tracing a shape out of tar paper, but you could use any shape or you can freehand it. I'm using a piece of card that I've cut into a rounded edge, and I'm going to use that to smooth the edges. You could just use your finger. This is just helpful if you're doing lots of these plates. I just used a hole punch plastic card, and then I cut to basically be the height of my clay. So you can see it's rounded the corners, and now I need to flip it over and do the other side. So this gets a rough sort of rounded edge, but it still leaves a lot of crumbs. So I need to come back in with my finger and just kind of compress and smooth, and I'll flip it to do both sides. Then I need a piece of foam, and I'm using a terracotta saucer. You could use other forms. They shouldn't have a big indent too much. And you could do this without foam, but I like the results. So you can see I've lined it up, and I'm going to press down, just a quick kind of press, and I kind of rock it back and forth to make sure I get pressure in all areas. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So if I didn't have the foam, I could just kind of have this upside down and kind of press the clay down like I'm looking at it now. And actually now what I want to do is see, do I need to press down anymore? I don't want it like really tightly wrapped, but I could get a little bit closer on these edges here. So I could adjust a little bit. It's important my clay is dry enough to hold its shape, but not so dry that it cracks. I want to set it aside to dry a little bit, which I've done, and now I'm going to start using underglaze. First I cut out some leaves out of paper, and I need to get these a little damp. I can either spray the plate or I can spray the leaves. This is a one-time deal because the paper will start to tear. The water allows me now to press down and let this sort of suction onto the clay. I like to let it hang off the edges, kind of have some organic kind of look. I might need to get some areas damp again. The wrinkles are okay, although I might get a little bit of color seeping underneath there. And now I'm going to take some underglaze, or you could also use slip. It's basically the same thing. And I'm brushing this on. I'm going to cover the whole thing. And then after that, I'll let it dry. And then I'll come back and do a second coat. After my second coat, sometimes you only need one, I'm going to peel up my paper so I've revealed the masking, and you can see some areas are a little like rough, and I can clean those up with some sort of tool. This is like a kind of pointed metal stylus, but you could use any tool that sort of can clean up the edges. You can do this after it's dried. I'm just doing it right now so that you can see, but I do prefer to let it dry just so that I don't worry about smearing anything else. So I'm just scraping away that layer of underglaze that seeped under. And I forgot to videotape it, but I also use the card around the edges to clean up the edges and have a nice transition between that edge and the outside. That's it.